All right, Loachers, as always, all firearms used in this video have been rendered safe and clear to make sure that I and all my loved ones are in no imminent danger of accidental discharge. Right? All magazines have been unloaded and the weapons cleared and rendered safe. Remember, gun safety starts with you. Most importantly, use this and don't use this until you have to or need to. All right? Let's be safe out there, guys. All right? All right, you guys. So as far as the laser or light laser combos that are out there, you don't have to break the bank. I mean, you're going to have a lot of snooty, uppity, I know everything kind of people out there that say, you only buy one brand, right? Okay, good for you. Happy for you. But in a lot of cases, people can't afford some of the higher end or name brand devices that are available to you online or at your store. You may have blown your wad on the firearm itself. Whatever the case may be, okay, you can find these laser and light combos pretty affordably online. All right. Now, obviously, there's that stuff that is like clearly imported and is crap. Definitely read the reviews on these things. Do your research online, but you don't have to blow $150, $200, or even more in some cases on a laser or light laser combo. For example, cheap Amazon, or eBay or whomever you shop online with. This particular light laser combo I got for less than $40, and it's got a nice solid metal body. Mounts on the pick rail just like everything else. Tightens with the screw tension on both sides, and it's rechargeable magnetically. So, for like $40 online, this thing does the job, and it does it rather well. And I've fired this particular pistol, and under recoil, it seemed to hold at zero plenty. Keeps the charge for, it's a go-to home defense pistol. And I, make sure that there's charge in it, but I'm not after it every week, right? And on the bottom, it has these 4 little lights that you can see right there that tell you, whether it needs to be charged or not. Okay. I've got a Laser Max on this particular one. And, this is getting into the more expensive, although still kind of inexpensive. And these are typically right about $100 online. This one does take batteries. Okay, there's a little battery door right there, right? So you don't have the benefit of it being rechargeable, but it's got a really solid mount. You can see these little plastic rails that go down the body of the light laser combo that mount on the trigger guard. It's very snug up against the frame here. So, this is a really good solid mount. And it's got a light on it as well. Let's see if I can get the light up for you here. There you go. Kind of a cool green light, actually. And then I have the TLR6 on this particular pistol. The Streamlight TLR6 is incredibly well made. It does have a polymer body to it, so it keeps it lightweight, but it's got a really secure mount. Obviously, again, it mounts to the pick rail. And an easy to get to button on either side, right? So that button activates it, and you have a button on either side. So kind of ambidextrous. It's pretty sleek. is it my favorite go-to light laser combo? I mean, not really. I kind of like them all, you know, and I got different ones for variety. Again, this is an online cheapie, which ended up being a pretty good purchase, actually. Laser Max, that's a brand that y'all will recognize or is easily found. And then the Streamlight TLR6. Again, both of these are ambi, as there's a button on either side to activate the device. Okay. Same with the online cheapie. Got the strobe for that disco effect. But yeah, these can be had pretty affordably. And again, you don't have to go out and spend the same amount you did for the firearm on the light laser to have the option of being able to illuminate things in the dark and acquire your target pretty rapidly.
I'm Bill, not Loach, but I just wanted to say thanks, Loach, for making me feel better about, you know, not having to spend high-end dollars, you know, after I bought the firearm and the ammunition and the holster and all that good stuff that goes with it, and I ran out of cash, and you know, and I shouldn't have to feel too bad about not buying like a super high-end light laser combo. After all, I blew the rest of my money on you know, hookers and meth, so I appreciate you, Loach, for making me feel better about being broke.
All right, and as far as a weapon light is concerned, I mean, you really don't have to zero a weapon light. I mean, it should be adequate enough as far as it being centered and following the line of your bore, right? And the beam of light isn't something so precise that you have to zero it. And if you do get a light laser combo and the light needs to be zeroed or centered, then you obviously bought the wrong device. Horribly mistaken, obviously. Huh. Huh. Alright, I got this. Weapon light. Here we come. I think this is going to be perfect right about here is where I want it. Nice solid mount, you know, and I can use it as a spare pistol grip. That's great. That's good there. Perfect. Yeah, I like that. That's just Loach quality and Loach style right there. All right, sighting in your laser. You know, again, you shouldn't have to sight in your light if you got a light laser combo. And if you did, we saw what happened there on that whole AR-15 and the spotlight thing. Let's not relive that. Anyway, so if you're keeping your pistol for home defense, right, you're going to want to dial it in or zero it, okay, at a realistic distance, okay? I am not going to go very far with this versus going far with this, right? Again, this is something that I carry for personal defense, okay, or home defense. But the range is going to be rather intimate, right? Let's just use that word, intimate. So not everybody has a bore sighter, right? I mean, you might, but you might not as well. And you've got the firearm, you've got the light laser combo, you got it mounted, and you want to dial it in. And I've seen it a million times at the range where homie or homette or whatever pronoun you want to use, I'm okay with, shows up with hundreds of rounds of ammo, and they didn't do their work at home, or if you live out in the country, out in the backyard where it's safe, good backstop, whole 9 yards. And they're just slinging lead down range, man. They're just like, bada bang, bada bang, bada bang, bada bang. Stop for a second. You can see the laser, flipping around on the target, and they haven't hit squat except for the ceiling or the floor. And they're taking a second to adjust it, and they're getting frustrated and cursing and sweating and, getting swamp ass because they're really just having a challenging day instead of enjoying something like expressing their freedoms and liberties and having a good day at the range and just having fun shooting, right? I mean, it's real easy and realistically logical that if you're going to tune up your pistol to dial in your laser to match your point of aim, you just light the laser up, right? And like so. And you find a target at a realistic distance, right? So you certainly aren't going to run this out 100 yards, right? I mean, you might if you've got a laser on like a match pistol and you're shooting some type of competition or something. But I mean, be real, guys. Adjust this to accommodate a realistic situation. Okay, so pick that distance. So, for example, this was a home defense pistol. I mean, maybe I'd sight it in for as far as 20, 25 feet. I mean, at the most, 30 feet. I don't know. Something that's no further than a doorway in my house or the next room from where I'm standing. Just a realistic distance of where this would actually be applied. Okay? Now, hopefully, your firearm comes with a rear and front sight. Very simple, you guys. And, don't make fun of me for even calling this out, because there's a lot of people out there in the know that know how to dial these things in. But, for the newbie or somebody who's never had a laser on their weapon before, they're like, well, how do I not throw 500 rounds down range and I don't have a bore light and, I want to kind of sight it in. I want to zero it out, so it's all I got to do is make minimal adjustments when I actually do get to the range or feel confident that I'm going to put it on paper. Well, you use the front and rear sights, right? As you normally would. Find a target, okay, in wherever you're at the realistic distance that you would actually apply this device to, right? And make the adjustments, okay? Like anything else, right, that you would have to zero, a scope, a laser, what have you. It's going to have the windage and elevation adjustments, okay, on it. And you just bring that laser dot up to where the sights meet your target. Okay, like I said, that's not a realistic distance, but I'm over here on the other side of the hallway, and there's nothing back there, so that's a safe direction. But like I said, it's very simple to just bring that blue dot or whatever color you purchased, right, up into the sights where your sights cover your target accurately. And you can be even more critical by placing it on the back of a chair, right, the firearm itself, so it's nice and steady. Okay, find your target with the sights and with the laser and make the appropriate adjustments like so. All right, with the windage and elevation adjustment screws, and typically they provide you with the tool, and it's just a hex wrench, and get it on target or as close to on target as possible. That way when you go to the range, you're not spending all day trying to dial that sucker in. Okay, and to save yourself some ego, you're not putting the laser on target and shooting the ceiling instead, because it's way out of whack. So that's pretty simple. And for the regular guy that doesn't have a ton of money to blow on ammo, or just is got to live paycheck to paycheck and can't afford a bore sight, even though they're very affordable, $20 online. Um, definitely use that trick to get your dot on target, or as close to on target as you possibly can. And again, use that range that you would actually apply whichever device or firearm you'll be sighting it in for. All right? Hope that helps. Okay, guys. So the next question or the next concern would be holstering the firearm with the device attached. So in a lot of cases, you're not going to find a specific holster unless you get it custom made, right? And, you could go out to the reputable holster makers out there and contact them and see if they'll make one that fit the dimensions of your firearm and the newly acquired laser or light laser combo. And there are instances where people make holsters ready-made online. You can find them, search them, for very commonly purchased pistols, such as the Taurus GX4 9mm with the TLR6 from Streamlight light laser combo. There are ready-made holsters out there that exist. And the oddballs, okay, so I've got my CZ, right, P10M with the online cheapie, which turned out to be a really good purchase. They don't really make holsters for this. One, because it's not a world-renowned light laser device, and on top of that too, the pistol itself may not have gathered the following enough for holster makers to go out there and fit the pistol with a holster with an accessory attached to the rail. Whatever the case may be, that might be your challenge. In the event that you do have a challenge, you can make things work, right? And what I found, and this is just for me, so you stinky rich guys out there that can afford custom-made holsters, you guys just keep eating your caviar and drinking your spendy wine and making fun of peasants like me. I've got a belt slide holster, right? It's one of those Cordura nylon ones that you can find, again, online, everywhere. I prefer to carry my firearms on my strong side hip. I'm right-handed, not wrong-handed, right-handed, and I carry it on my hip, right, outside the waistband. That's how I prefer to carry something even this size, right? Anything else might fit in my pocket, right? Got a mouse gun or a pocket pistol, just stick it in my pocket in a pocket holster, right? But these belt slide holsters, right, will accommodate certain firearms, right? But you kind of got to do a little homemade jimmy jam on them, right? So what I did was I took the holster and I cut the stitching. You can still see the line from the original stitch from the factory that accommodates a firearm with no accessory attached to it. What I did is I cut it. I took a sharp knife and I cut that stitching out, right? So it opened up the holster to accommodate the additional width or height, right, of the pistol when you put it in the holster. It doesn't stop when it hits the factory stitching in the holster. It goes all the way through because I cut the stitching out, giving it more room. And then I just kind of stitched it a little bit more so it sits in the holster snugly and at the correct angle, and adjusted it to the pistol accordingly, right? And then it allows me to carry the pistol and the weapon mounted accessory, light laser combo, on my strong side hip, where I prefer, outside the waistband. Okay, nice and snug to my body, and it fits it perfectly. And once I have it on, I don't know it's there. But again, you know, the holster itself is going to be your challenge, right? There are some universal holsters out there. Do your homework to find something that works, or be ingenious enough to make something work, right? But make sure that whatever you Frankenstein up to accommodate your firearm, that it's carrying the firearm snugly, securely, and safely. Okay, that whatever you do to the holster doesn't hang up on the trigger, or a safety if you have a frame mounted safety, or whatever the case may be, causing some type of accident. Okay, and as well, that, you know, when you go to draw it, it makes it easy to draw. Okay, so there's that. All right, so obviously they make light laser combos for rifles, right? There's your laser, there's your light. Sorry, I didn't mean to blind you guys. But, you know, you can zero these in the same fashion, but, you know, I mean, unless you're using this for close quarters combat, like really close quarters, or home defense, which, you know, I recommend a shotgun for those people who live in the city and they have neighbors and they don't want a 5.56 cooking through walls and hitting their neighbors. But yeah, you can, you know, definitely use a bore sighter, and, you know, stick it in the barrel and sight it in, right? You know, not everybody's got the availability of living out in the country and being out, having a big backyard, you know, where it's safe to shoot back there and you got a good backstop and there aren't a bunch of people walking around or somebody on the other side of the wall. And you can dial in your laser to whatever distance you want, right? But living here in the city, you know, you could use the same technique using the front and rear sight if you needed to. But, you know, that's not optimal, because I really wouldn't use this to defend my home. And that's a personal choice because I have neighbors. Once again, I prefer a 12 gauge with some lame ass bird shot in it that doesn't have the potential to really go through a bunch of walls, or, you know, penetrate the first thing it hits, right? And move on to the target behind it. So try to be as safe as possible, and not load it with a bunch of slug or buckshot or anything high powered or high velocity or anything like that. So there's that, right? All right, Loachers. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, maybe, if you didn't like it, down below. Questions and comments. Do me a favor, subscribe, share the link if it made it giggle. All right? Other than that, a lot of Loach love, a lot of Loach laughter. Here we go again.